Good morning, everybody. Welcome to another impromptu episode of The Lab. Attempt to fix just about everything. Kind of one of those, just wanted to, since I was already working on the bot and wanted to get a couple of things done, figured I might as well just go ahead and stream. Apologies in advance if I sound rough. It has been a long week. But I am going to attempt to offset with some code. So I am really going to keep this up for too long. We're just going to go ahead and get on started. So, something that I was doing the other day. There it is. I was attempting to add more tests to the IRC side of the code, as kind of that same vein of I want things like IRC, the kind of the backbone elements, the IRC, the bot, and etc. I want those things to be tested as well as possible. And we're not there, but we're getting there. And one of the things that I tried to do yesterday, I think this was yesterday, yeah, was I tried to add two additional tests, two more integration style tests. One being a message received from the server, so emulating that Twitch, something in Twitch chat has happened, and so a message is sent to the IRC client. And I also attempted to do a message send to the server. So, for example, the bot wanting to send a message, and that bot effectively trying to get that message from bot to IRC client to Twitch IRC, and had a bit of difficulty with the latter. The former wasn't too bad. I just wanted to kind of go over that real quick. So in terms of changes, the only thing that I did was I changed test read and test write to be a little more feature oriented. And so this would be things like message received from server, just to be very explicit as to what that test is attempting to do. And in terms of setup for that test, it was not too bad. We still have our test connection, which the test connection struct did get a clear function, which is effectively just so that I can clear the buffer out. And what I mainly wanted this for was after IRC start. Since we've already done a start test, which I think was up here somewhere, I didn't need to test that again, so I basically wanted to do a test start, or IRC start, clear the buffer, and have a clean state to evaluate messages to and from. And let's see here. And then for this test, I think I was just doing a simple chat message just to see how that would work, if it would work. And I ended up with a test that looks something like this. So we write to that connection, and then we do a simple select. If we receive an event off of the test bot, which test bot is just the implementation of the new simple plugin that we did from last stream, I believe, and setting that outbound channel to IRC set channel, and then testbot.get channel. So effectively, the IRC's outbound messages are pointing to this test bot, this new simple plugin, if you will. However, that doesn't really make as much sense, because I don't really think that we need something like that. We really just need a channel. So I am probably going to flip that to be just a channel instead of it being a new simple plugin, because new simple plugin doesn't really make a whole lot of sense in this context, and it's technically a bot dependency inside of IRC, which we don't want. If the event type is the message that we are expecting, or if the message is not what we are expecting, then we fail out the test. And then we also fail out the test because this is technically, I believe, asynchronous. I also do a case for after 3 seconds, if I've still not received a message, then we assume that to be a fatal condition. So in terms of changes in between last stream, and now I think that's the majority of it. What I was also doing was I was doing a go test with the race detector, and I did find a couple of data races, and I was attempting to understand how to parse this and how to make it better. That makes sense. So was going to look at that to see if I could figure out why this was happening. But I think for starters, let's start with the IRC test. So for this, instead of it being a new simple plugin, I think we can just make this as a channel of bot.event. Now this is still technically creating a dependency on the bot, technically. I have no idea why that's there. Don't need that anymore, we just need that. But technically the IRC already has that dependency, all things considered. It has that dependency on the bot.message to begin with, which is the whole point. So that's fine. I'm fine with that being there. I was less inclined to make the plugin really visible in this context. It made more sense for it to just be a simple channel, since we don't really need a full bot. And let's see here. And then same thing for here. That still makes sense. Let me just do a go test real quick to make sure nothing failed. Well, the test send message to server failed, but that is fine. And there was a way. Terminal make bigger is more or less how I would like to do this. To increase a window to its maximum height. Nope. To increase a window to its maximum width. Nope. Resize split. Press +5. Okay. So if I were to do, oh, but the problem is that with this, I don't have. Yeah, I don't really have Vim commands. The problem is that I don't have scroll back. Actually, that's probably more what I should look at. Vim terminal scroll. And this is the new one. If you're using NeoVim, I am not. Okay. Interesting. I didn't know there was a Tino remap. Huh. And require escape to retain its original functionality. Da 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 da. Interesting. Okay, I'm kind of curious. Sorry, this is technically a division away from stuff, but this is fun. Vim is fun. Let's see here. Here. Oops. Oops. And this is just so I remind myself. Enable Vim commands using edit terminal. Ah, yes, I did map these. I forgot about that. Very interesting. So now we're back in here, and then C. All right, that does weird things for some reason. And term, and FF leader plus. Oh, but that doesn't work. Oh dear, that was interesting. Well, let's see. Go test. let's just do a go test. See what happens. Oh, it does enable scroll back. Oh, that's so cool. There's a big old gap, unfortunately. But okay. So yes, it looks like everything else is passing accordingly. That's fine. So now... yeah, so I think that's okay. And now we can come back to... oh, I didn't want to do that. Whoops. Okay, so... you all... VimRC. Escape, probably not desirable. Let's actually change this to CB. Yeah. So, Vim, IRC, and then term, CB. Okay. That works. Okay, now we're back with a little less Vim and a little more Go. Okay, so next thing that I would like to look at though, so we talked a little bit about testing, and I am still working on testing kind of off the cuff as we go. But the next thing that I want to look at is the pluggable interface. And we talked about this a little bit in the last stream, that I feel like pluggable doesn't make as much sense as we thought it would. Or at least in the sense that I think the idea of pluggable in that we are separating the bot from its clients, and in some way vice versa, does make sense. But I think that pluggable as the concept that wraps that, I don't feel like makes as much sense. So what I would like to do is I would like to try and simplify this a little bit. I would like to try and do something here. I'm trying to think of what that something would be. Let's take a look from the main perspective. Come back to IRC. Chatbot.register plugin, IRC. So for IRC, am I doing anything? IRC new WebSocket, IRC equals new client for IRC.close. Okay, that's fine. Bot.register inbound plugin, bot.register outbound plugin. But where are we setting? Where are we calling set channel? That doesn't make sense. Where are we setting? Did I miss it? Register inbound, register out. Ah, there it is. Okay, there it is. I was losing my mind. I was trying to figure out where we were connecting the two things together, and we're connecting them here. Hmm. Okay. And what about reference? Just there. Okay. And reference here. Pluggable handler. Okay. Okay. So, what? What I'm thinking is something a little more akin to this. Bot is, let's see, this would be a method, and this would be register. Maybe registered client. Maybe. Something like that. And what I'm kind of thinking here is I want to simplify, or not simplify. I want to alter the verbiage a little bit, to be a bit more explicit about what the plugin actually is. And so, in the case of a client is more or less something that is going to that the bot is going to send or receive messages from, which is not necessarily a it's not necessarily all encompassing. Technically, you could send messages to a client as well as receive them. The challenge of naming things. I want to call that. But the idea is more or less the same in that the client would have their channel set to bot.events. Bot.inbound plugins equals append bot.inbound plugins client. And we need to change this this verbiage. This can't error, so I'm not going to indicate that it can, as far as I am aware. And then to do this, we need to bot.lock, defer bot.unlock, just to be sure. And then bot.inbound plugins equals blah. Now, I would like to change this verbiage. Well, I can't change the verbiage until I decide on the name for it. Client seems to make a lot of sense, I think. I also think that this probably belongs inside of... Oh, dear. Oh, dear. Ben just had a conniption fit. I believe that this more belongs here than it does in pluggable. I mean, pluggable is kind of slowly but surely getting ripped out, I think. I think that's okay. Thank you for the lurk, Fuel. I appreciate it. Welcome to this impromptu lab session. I think I need to make a distinction between a read-only client and a read-write client. And maybe I just call it that. Maybe I call it read-only client. And right now we have a read-write. So technically, register read-write client would be register read-write client is a client that will send messages to the bot and that will receive messages from the bot. So it's kind of the same idea as what a plugin is, and in fact, this is what a plugin is. A plugin is a read-write client. Yeah, I might as well just make inbound 0. Here, read-write clients is a collection of inbound, which I will probably change this at some point. I am going to remove the inbound and outbound plugins. And this will be read-write clients equals append, read-write clients client. And then client. And maybe I just changed the definition a little bit. We want to change that to just channel. Send event sends a bot event to right side clients. Or not right side, but right enabled clients. There's an element of this that is giving me pause. So we're attempting to abstract the idea of an outbound client. When in reality, that's probably going to cause more of a problem, I think, than it's going to solve in a future state. Purely because we really only have one outbound channel in the generic sense, which is IRC. Or even more generically than that, the bot only has one outbound intended target, which is chat. And if we were to have multiple outbound clients, we potentially run into the risk of, if we accidentally created, say, multiples, that we would basically run into chat duplication, which is undesirable. I don't think it really makes sense to have that as a collection. I feel like this should just be clients. This should be clients. Probably call this just client. And we'll have like type client as an interface. And a client has just a set channel. And this would be a channel of bot or of event. And I don't think it makes sense for this to have set destination, maybe? So more or less the idea here is that a client represents data coming to the bot. And when we register a client, so client is a client, and then here we say client.destination is bot.events. Say destination, not a set destination. A little bit of my Java coming out. And then here, instead of read-write clients, it's just clients. Do something like that. So, oh geez. Register client. Register client links a client that will send data to the bot. This method also sets the client's destination channel. That way we have a little bit of separation in the sense that a client is really just an abstraction over a channel, which is intentional. We can change that definition a little bit later if we need to, but the client is kind of disconnected from having to do any type of setup or having to know that the bot.events exists. And this way, now we still need the outbound. And what I think this is going to be, do we even use channel? Oh, we do, technically. Let me put these down here. I should call these something. I should call this something else. I'm getting ahead of myself a little bit. So, consumers. These are basically handlers. Handlers of bot.event messages. You just say event because we're in the context of the bot. Oh, well, yeah, we'll just be explicit. And then clients are producers of data from external systems. Just want to get a little bit more detailed about why we're doing things a certain way. And then destination is the channel to send events to. Yeah, so we'll have something like that. We've got events, consumers, clients, and listening. And I kind of want to order these a little more naturally, if you will. So for inbound, this is, or I should say for outbound, for messages going to the chat, where the bot sends messages to get to chat. What do I want this to be? Chat client is probably fine, but what do I want to define this as? I mean, in the simplest case, it's a channel of events, do I want to create a type for that? Something like type chat client, which here we would have a, channel, which will return a channel of events. And this is something that is going to receive events. Chat client represents a connector to chat. And this is the thing. I think where I'm kind of getting a little hesitant is that we're almost kind of making the bot a little too abstract, because the ultimate goal of this is to be a chat bot, not necessarily to be a generic bot. And so what I would really like to do is I would like to kind of keep that ideology in mind, and I would like to represent that in the code. So chat client represents a connector to chat that the bot sends messages to. So effectively, this is how the bot interacts with chat. Like, this is how the bot sends messages to chat. And then client represents data coming to the bot, or data being sent to the bot. I want to call that out explicitly. And then chat client represents a connector to chat, or chat client is a connector to chat that the bot sends messages to. Something like that. Okay. So then instead of this being a for loop, this would just be bot.chat client EVT. And there's some tracing that I probably need to do here. To do trace outbound. There's a lot of tracing that I want to do that I haven't really done up to this point. So we'll have to see how we do that later. But start, that's fine. There's probably a lot of errors. Yeah. So register inbound plugin is no longer a thing. Register outbound plugin is no longer a thing. Register plugin is no longer a thing, which means that simple plugin doesn't really make sense. Main.go, this is now register client. And there is no way for this to fail. So IRC is both a client and a chat client. So we register it as both. So bot.register client IRC and bot.chat client is also IRC. I want to say set chat client. I actually wanted to look this up because this was brought up a while ago. Golang get set, or getter setter, I suppose. Yeah, go. There it is. Names. Get in front of a getter's name. If you have a field called owner, the getter method should be called owner. Okay, will likely be called set. Okay, yeah. So it's just not using the moniker of get, but set is okay. Okay. Script rep get. Yeah. So then we would need to do that. Oops. We wanted to save that. DS. Now get Twitch token is undefined. So Twitch token do like that. DS. Oh, yeah. So now we need to go into here. We just do that. Redis store. No. Store. Factory env store. Just needs to be Twitch token. Okay. So let's go back to the bot. I called it. So register client and then func bot set chat client. Lunk, and then bot dot chat client equals yes. No. Oh, right, because I didn't actually do chat client. It's just a channel. So yeah, let's go ahead and make it go ahead and make it a chat client. You know what? I just want to embrace Nope, I'm gonna need that. I am gonna need that. I was thinking about like, hey, just embrace channels. Like technically I am, all things considered. But I am going to need this because that's going to give me access to the IRC's inner channel. So yeah, we're gonna have to do that. IRC, so down here. So this is chat client. Hello, Really Frank. Thank you so much for stopping by. Welcome to the lab. How are you doing, mate? So this is bot.client. This is bot.chat client. Yes. Just to catch you up a little bit, Really Frank. So I am in the process of redoing the pluggable concept. Shito and I kind of both agreed that it was kind of convoluting things a little more than I would have preferred, and overall just the way that it was working just didn't really make sense to me. I wanted to simplify things a good bit, and so that's what we're doing right now. Just kind of slowly but surely getting to that point. And what I'm doing instead... Oh, is it not bot? No, it's not bot. It's a chat bot. chat body. I'm also kind of simplifying things just a little bit. IRC as both as bot.client value, blah, 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 missing method destination called. So in IRC, so I'm kind of changing the moniker just a little bit. And let me actually show this real quick. I'm not 100% set on this just yet, and I'd love your opinion on this. I've got two different pieces. Number one, I did create a client interface because that concept still applies here in terms of like what I need for the client to do. And a client is really just data being sent to the bot from an external system. Chat client is kind of a simplification of the idea of outbound. And I simplified the idea of outbound because it didn't really make a whole lot of sense as far as I could tell to have a concept of multiple outbound channels. Because really the bot only has one outbound channel, which is chat. Everything else is more like even something going outbound, something like Discord. If I were to send Discord notifications or Slack notifications or blah, 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 all of those would fall into the handlers because they receive an event and they send that somewhere. So it didn't really make sense for me to have different outbound sources, especially because I was just going to have to select the right one to get it to chat later anyway. So it made sense to me to simplify that concept. That's the theory. And of course, now I have to fix all of that as well. But so that's kind of what I'm looking at. And right now, so register client is you give me a client. I'll set that client's destination to be the bot's events channel, and then off we go. Set client is singular because I want to kind of enforce that this is just a singular place to go. Oh, sorry, give me just a second. All right, sorry about that. A friend of mine checking in on me. So yes, I wanted to enforce that this was singular. So set chat client is singular. Set chat client. Well, I mean, set chat client sets the chat client technically, but is where set chat client registers the client that will allow the bot to send messages to chat. Just like that. And of course, I got a doorbell notification at the same time. The kitties. That's one of the kitties. We have neighborhood cats. That's actually the siblings of Zelda, the rescue that I have, and I think they have also associated me with food. So now they keep coming to the porch, and they're sweet. They don't quite let me pet them, but they are sweet. But now I swapped to a Ubiquiti doorbell from a Nest doorbell. And Ubiquiti's motion detection is really good, except for the part where it can't distinguish between, say, animals, cars, and people. So hopefully that comes along. But it's fine, all things considered. Or we could just write our own tensor plugin. All right, let's see here. Let me double check where our errors are. IRC set channels. So this is in, okay, so those are in the tests. So we do need to fix the tests, which is fine. Oh my goodness. Got like a crick in my neck, and I don't know what I did to deserve that. I need to get rid of those user state messages as well, but we'll one problem at a time. Okay, so with register client inside of main.go, we've got register client and we've got set chat client, which basically makes it explicit of IRC is both a producer of messages and a consumer of messages. So it's both the inbound and the outbound. And that I think is pretty good in terms of what I wanted it to do. Now I need to fix the test, but I also wanted to double check to see if this is actually working. Short answer is no. Oh, right, because we need to I think we're just gonna RM pluggable. Yeah, I think that's just gonna RM pluggable. And we're just gonna do a quick test, make sure that's still working. It's still working. Fantastic. So before we go any further, well, yeah, before we go any further, term it's status. There we go. So we've got a lot. Yeah. Exit out of this. Get status, get diff, IRC. Same, really, Frank. Well, I guess not. So I had a what was it? I had an Edge Router Lite, Edge Router Lite, and the AP lights. I have one upstairs and one downstairs. Fantastic set of tech. And very recently, because I wanted to replace the Nest the Nest camera, the Nest doorbell. I was going back and forth on whether I get the NVR or if I just go with the Dream Machine, and I ended up going with the Dream Machine. That machine, that piece of networking tech is just so good. It has genuinely been a phenomenal thing to work with. And it has a cloud key built in, it has the firewall built in, it has the NVR built in, it has so many things built into it. Fantastic. I don't have to have a Raspberry Pi just like dangling off of my network, my switch anymore, which is always a good thing. I don't like that it didn't have power over Ethernet, but at the same time, I already had a PoE switch, like a 20 or 16 port or 24 port PoE switch, so it wasn't really that big of a deal. It would have been cool if it had a built-in PoE, because then I could have shrunk all that down to one machine, but that's like a minor complaint at best. And now the entire network is unified, and I love it. Okay, so I need to git add a bot, git add main, git add IRC. So replace pluggable with a simple client. abstraction. But what I now need to do is I now need to go in, not do that. Main.go, utilizing GoPLS. I don't want to do, what is it pasting? And no, I don't want main, I want IRC test. And now I need to do this, set destination, or not set destination, it's just destination. Oh yeah, no, this needs to be, destination, it needs to be set destination. We'll do like that. So we got destination, and then on the chat client, we've got channel to get the channel that that we need to send to. That should be fine. So now let's go back to IRC test. And in terms of the test bot, test bot equals. Can I do this? I don't think I can do this. No, I can't do that. Oh, right. The IRC and this needs to be set destination. Dream Machine Pro as well, 24 port PoE switch, 3 AP lights, 3 Flex mini switches, 1 G3 Flex camera. Nice. Are you using the Flex minis for the cameras? And do you like the Flex camera? I currently have a different NVR. What is it? I think it's a Night Owl system. I would really like to change that system because that DVR is, or NVR is terrible. It's so bad. And the process to get that accessible on the network was just. How's that working? Oh. Yes. So this is no longer a thing. So now, and then type checker struct. Yeah, I think we're technically back to where we were previously, which is fine. A little bit of duplication is perfectly fine. And events is a channel of event. And then func the checker channel and event c.events is bot dot chat client. Let's just call it that, chat client. Or what you call this? Test chat client. New chat client. Returns test chat client. Return test client. Events is make. And then chat client. Really, we should just call it checker. New test chat client. This is no longer This is set chat client checker. No? Oh, right. So. Is it not? Oh, it's not. Bot. That client is a channel of send only. There we go. Cameras directly connected to the PoE. Flex Minis is used as small local switches for TV, Apple TV. Gotcha. They're just powered from the big PoE switch. That's cool. Oh, I like that. So effectively, Flex Mini switches are PoE switches that kind of they're switches for the localized area. That's so cool. I've never seen those before. And now I'm going to take a quick moment. Flex Mini switch. Oh. Gotcha. I never internalized. That that's how those things were powered. That is really cool. Huh. Nice. You have given me something to consider for later. Thank you, really, Frank. It's super cheap. That's so good. Holy shit. I mean, most of I don't really have a whole lot of places in the house that require multiple devices connected to a switch anymore. Yeah, because this is kind of the primary room. This is where I work out of for most of the day. And well, I think I've shown this before, but the server rack that's next to me, it has a 24 port switch on it, just a cheap gigabit switch that I got on eBay a while ago. So that's like networking for everything that's in here. And I think everything else, the PoEs, the APs are Ethernet through the wall. I ran those explicitly. And then everything else is like a wireless device like the Fire Stick or things of that nature. So, but that gives me some ideas for something to potentially do for downstairs in the living room. Sorry, complete derivation from what we were talking about, but I am intrigued. Thank you. Okay, so let's see here. So, let me see. Nope. Got events undefined. That should be events. Else. Okay. Funk. Success. Huzzah. Okay. Now, though, I think the other one was which one was it? Okay. Oh, right. I think it was the. There we go. It was the bits handler test. Was the bits handler test? Or no, this was where we were. Aha. Go tests. Okay. Or let's just do a go test so I can kind of clear that up a bit. How that is still printing, I have no idea. Test send message to server, which is fine. But the other ones are passing. Okay, excellent. Bot bits handler test. Oh yeah, I did. I was doing some more quote unquote effective Go cleanups for names as well. Which I did on the store side. So git add bot rc commit amend. It's status. Status. Okay. Let's bring that back up again. Do one more check. Everything looking good. Fantastic. All right. Let's just push that up real quick. I should have branched and I should have made a PR, but I just completely forgot, to be perfectly honest. And then git add secret, git commit. So for here, this was rename git method for effective go. Yeah, there we go. I'm already out of coffee. Let's see here. Okay. Trello board? Did I put that on the Trello board? I did. So simplify pluggable. What we ended up doing, ended up replacing pluggable with simple client and chat client abstractions. Similar idea, more direct tie to the bot's functionality. And again, I wanted to clarify that all of that would not have been as clear without Shito's contributions and without that PR from Shito. So I want to make sure that is explicitly noted, that Shito's PR is still insanely appreciated. And even though I've changed it, I've changed the wording, I've changed where things are, and so on and so forth, the general idea is still there. So again, thank you to Shito for pointing that out, and thank you to everybody for kind of helping me get to that point. All right. Another thing that I did want to look at was benchmarks. Benchmarks and tests for handlers. I have enough time to do that right now. I think I do. But let me take a couple of minutes to collect some things, collect myself, and I will be right back. return a little bit. Okay. I meant to ask. Really, Frank. Is there a convention for what is effectively test helper methods? So specifically, what I'm about to get into with let's see here. What I'm about to get into with some of these handler tests and also with some of the IRC tests that I need to fix is that I need a kind of a consistent way to construct IRC messages. So this would be more or less things like I want to create a raid message. I want to send that through the integration of the IRC, the bot, so on and so forth. And I want to make sure that that makes it to the handler as a raid event. That approach, that method of constructing those IRC messages, I would like to make as a function and put them somewhere, but I also can't think of a place where it would really make sense for that to exist. Aside from doing something like a test package, but I wanted to see if there was a convention that you knew of, as I'm also going through this, of a function that I really only intend to be used in test, and not really to be used anywhere in the code, in the main production code. And I was also trying to see if there was anywhere in here that said anything about that. Anything about embedding. See here. In the meantime, so the next thing that I would like to work on, I think I'd like to work on the more tests for the handlers, and I think I'm actually going to change this from add tests for handlers to add tests for raid handler, add tests for sub handler, and add tests for bits handler. I'm going to archive that. Your MVP2. I'm mostly just adding the tags for MVP2 so that I can kind of see at a quick glance what was MVP1, what was MVP2. I'm not really going to do any analytics here, but I think I'm doing that subconsciously because at work I'm always tagging my my stories. I'm always labeling my stories in some kind of way, because the people that use Jira and related tools are doing analytics on how many how many points did we dedicate to MVP2? How many points did we dedicate to this feature? Yada yada yada. So it's almost like a habit for me to tag things now. And I think we're getting really close. I might bump this down to MVP3 as well. Those functions own file like packets test.go. Okay. So let me think about this. Oh, I just realized that my monitor is all kinds of crooked right now. There we go. So the other piece to that too was that I think I was having trouble importing, or maybe it was because if I put functions into a well, actually, you know what? I can just test this. Hello. So bot test. Yeah. Hey, hello, Sleo. Thank you so much for stopping by. Welcome to the lab. Usually I just have the helper functions mixed in with the tests. Same. Oh wait, hold on. So where that question came from, was that I was trying to reuse that test struct that I created for mimicking a receiving plugin, and I had that code in here in bot_test.go, and I couldn't import that for use in the IRC test. And admittedly, I probably shouldn't have. And it was exported. Double checked that it was exported and so forth, but it wasn't readily available. So I was wondering if it was something like Go just enforcing if you put something in a test file, it's only available either in that test file or it's only available to the package. I wasn't sure if there was any rule or so like that. Let me give Sleo a quick shout out. Maybe look at how they do it in HTTP test. Okay. HTTP test. I feel kind of bad because I think I've only managed to catch one of your streams, Leo. But it was a good time. So highly recommended personally. Okay, yeah. I think the problem might have been that I was trying to go outside of the package. So yeah, I think that should be okay. 10 a.m. my time? Oh, yeah, because it's 8 a.m. Well, 8:11 a.m. right now. So yeah, usually that would be me at work. Alrighty. Okay, let's see. How would I want to? One thing that I could do, in the vein of simplicity, is I could just do something like, yeah, we'll put up here, func, make IRC message, perhaps, and we could say body and sender are strings, and then tags. Why not? Map string string for the sake of simplicity. That returns a string. Yeah, we'll do something like that. Whether or not it stays in this location is still kind of TBD. But helper for creating an IRC message to be used in integration style tests. Why do I keep saying style? It's just an integration test. I don't know why, but I do. Okay, so now this is the part. This is the part where I basically have to do some fun stuff. So var sb is strings.builder. And then, so here's how we do this. sb dot write at oh dear, right string at. So let's start with the tags for kv equals range of tags sb dot write string, and this would be k equals plus v. Something about that doesn't really feel right, to be perfectly honest. It's like I'm using string builder and then I immediately do string concatenation. That feels okay, I think, maybe. Oh. Do I not have examples of... Gosh, I don't. I need to rectify this IRC message section, because these are supposed to be more or less realistic messages, but alas. Yeah, actually, let me get one of those real quick, because I do want this to be relatively realistic. So as net HTTP test, you can create a bot test package where all helper function lives. That makes a lot of sense, actually. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense to me. Okay, I think we'll do that. Just be buff. So I just wanted to grab a raw IRC message because I completely forgot the format here. And then test. We'll put you there. So it's at, and you have to. No worries, Leo. Thank you so much for stopping by. I appreciate it. My cat is being cute. Yeah, there's like no way that I'm gonna be able to get this. No, unfortunately. I'm gonna try and show it, but she looks super comfy. Just leave it at that. Okay. Yeah, okay. So it's split between. Hey, good morning, Shining Sun Bro. Welcome back to the lab. How are you doing, mate? We do like that. At the end of this, then we get username /channel. This would be sb dot write string dot write string sender. something like that. I'm pretty good. Got a great rest last night. Been in good health and staying safe, friend. I appreciate it, mate. I'm trying. I'm glad to hear that that you're doing well as well. Have missed you in Sorcery Stream. Let's see here. Let me set wrap here. I forgot that format was so weird. So it's okay. So we've got this piece. Username is Medge Labs. Sender. Oh my goodness. That is something about that just feels wrong to type. I don't know why. It just feels so wrong to type. Huh. Anyway, channel. Oh no. Sorry, we've got username. We've got command. Sp dot right string strings dot to upper command. That's just in case. Missing being in both your stream and hers. The past few weeks have been pretty busy. That's kind of fair considering. On a good schedule now though, so I'm sure I'll be summoned. I'll be summoned once more in the near future. That's fantastic. I'm happy to hear it. I dare say we miss you. Okay, so got that. Got that. And then I'm kind of taking the approach of section separator and then message. And then this would finally just be SB dot, not right string body. And then here we return SB dot string. Now the problem is that these don't actually exist, and I'm not really much of a fan of these types of massive messages, or these types of massive functions, because what that's going to look like is it's going to look like a make IRC message body Medge Labs priv message Medge Labs, and then a map string blah. That's really long. I'm not a fan personally. So perhaps we instead have some helper methods to do something like make priv message. Yeah, make priv message. So this would only require sender, channel, body. It's not the best. It really just removes. Alternatively, I have an idea. Why don't we just make a constant? Why don't we just make a couple constants? And a couple constants here, we could say We'll say test sender equals MedgeLabs. Test channel equals MedgeLabs. And that way, we can get rid of this, get rid of that, and do it like that. How exactly do you add bots to a stream? That depends. Are you referring kind of generally to the multitude of bots that are out there at the moment, or are you referring to our bots specifically? That effectively would create uses constants for sender and channel. You could do something like that. And then the ones that have basic commands like lurk and stuff. So I think for most of those bots like Nightbot, Streamlabs, and etc., you go to their website and you say you give them your channel. You basically register your channel as a consumer for that bot, and then most of them require you to also mod the bot. So if you go to say Nightbot, you register for Nightbot, you register your stream for Nightbot. An instance of Nightbot will join your stream, and then you have to go into chat and type /mod Nightbot, and that just gives Nightbot the ability to do the various things that it does. Not all bots require being mods, I don't believe. Some of them that are just simple chat bots don't really require moderator responsibilities, but for anything that does other things, then yeah, you'll have to mod them. Hi, I'm gonna go lurk for now. Thank you so much, Cher. I appreciate it. Welcome to the lab. Okay. So just to kind of voice the thought that was in my head here, I was considering making something of like a factory, or some type of a Fluent API to make these, instead of it being this kind of long version like so. Let me just more or less to give the test a little bit of a nicer interface than one single method that has just a metric ton of arguments going to it. I was considering doing that, but I'm not sure. I'm not sure if it's worth the effort, to be perfectly honest. I've wanted to add one for a while because I don't have anything fancy yet. That's absolutely fair. I see a lot of people using Nightbot, and Nightbot seems to be a very good bot to use. I personally have a lot of personal angst for Streamlabs. One of the things that I'm actively doing in this bot is I'm actively trying to replace Streamlabs functionality. Now, I will say that I am in the minority on that opinion because Streamlabs is a fantastic tool when it works. I've just had a lot of negative experiences with it recently that are encouraging me to replace it. But instead of replacing it, I've decided to make my own because I'm a mad person. And thank you so much for the host guitar. Hope you're doing well. Okay. Misunderstanding the entire stream. I appreciate you being here, mate. There's like a net runner that's sticking it to big business. No, I'm just one of those creators that one of those developers that because I create on a daily basis, my instinct is to create. And it's kind of fun to do. It's kind of fun to basically take something that is as interesting as cool as Streamlabs, decompose it and see one possible way of implementing it yourself. Um, Technically speaking, though, that does put me into a little bit of a situation because that means that I now have to support it. But then again, that also gives me the DIY approach if I get to support it. So yeah, you can kind of see the rabbit hole that I fall down in this. But one of the reasons that I am a maker is because it's fun. It brings me joy. Okay. So I'm spending a little more time on this in kind of the same way that I would spend a little more time thinking about um how I would create an API for other people to consume. I'm kind of giving this that same level of diligence. Am I using OBS right now? I am. I am using raw OBS, not using Streamlabs OBS. Rip all the innards out, change stuff around, sprinkle a little tech necromancy, and boom, you got yourself Franken Streamlabs. To be perfectly honest, that is very accurate. It is very accurate to what we are doing. And that makes me so proud. Yeah, so oh, I'm sorry. I'm actually struggling on this a little bit because my brain is chugging through. So let me try to voice this. So what I'm thinking about is the prospect of the other tests that we're going to write. So right now, if I look at bits handler test, for example, bits handler test is it's going to be an integration test, and I'm going to actually change this a little bit because this is more of a unit test than it is an integration test. Do something like that. And I'm going to be writing a number of these. I'm going to have to create these IRC messages many times. And so what I'm trying to think of how I would like to do is we have this function, and this function will do what I want in that capacity. It will, using the definition that I have right now, it will create me an IRC message that looks roughly something like this. In theory. And in fact, I should probably test this, because why not? Func test make IRC message. T is a, because I love being able to do this, T is a, there we go, testing.t, and I would like to just do a log dot print line, make IRC message. Hello. Sender would be MedgeLabs. Command would be priv message. Channel would also be MedgeLabs. And did we determine that there wasn't an easy way to initialize a map? I don't recall. I feel like the answer was yes. There wasn't.
Christmas bits for the Ledge Guitar 46 Lem Smile Lem Blessings for Christmas and New Year, dude.
Thank you so much, Guitar. I appreciate it, mate. Oh, the best. Let me give you a responded Lem. Oh, you can. Oh, okay. Excellent. You can do like, I feel like I've asked that question. Oh, that's right, because I did something similar before. Okay. So we can do something like display name. I don't think that's how you do it, but yeah. Edge Labs. Yeah. I done goofed. 100 hours of research in a few seconds. Sounds like you got some kind of hyperbolic time chamber. We absolutely have a hyperbolic time chamber. The lab is fantastic. Oh, sorry. I was misreading. Yeah, okay. I see what you mean, really, Frank. And to voice it as well, one of the other things that that I was pondering is how much of that context I wanted to how much of that context I wanted to expose to the rest of the code, the rest of the bot code, if that makes sense. It's almost like the idea of packet underscore test, where I basically hide the idea of priv message, user state, all that fun. I basically hide that behind a singular interface, and that singular interface will give me everything that I need, and I'm more or less creating an API for the other tests, if that makes sense. Go test v run test make IRC message. Majestic. Although the at symbol is not really necessary. So tags display name, okay, equals Medge Labs. Tags emote equals empty, because I just want to see what that does. And then subscriber. Cool. Or are they? I'm confused. I know that. I feel like we went down this path before, and for the life of me, I can't remember what the result was. I feel like we just had to do something like this, where each tag was added manually, which is something that I kind of sort of would like to hide in some capacity. I guess technically I am, but okay. Medge Labs, that minus the TV. Priv message. Oh, I don't have a, there we go. I don't have a space. I have a space in between them. So I need command sp.write string empty. And I can even I can actually even make this a test, because I probably should make it a test to make sure that it stays working. Do that. We'll do that. There we go. So you should not do this. Call this out right now. You should not do this. You should not run a test and then make a test off of the test. If that makes any sense. Basically, you should not do this. Then result equals, if result is not equal to expected, p dot fatal f. Got wrong IRC message. Expected. Got this is expected result. Do something like that. It's func. Aha. Or did not use log. And that. Func. Yes, I made a test for my test function because test function is technically logic. But we are going to put these somewhere else. Now, really, Frank, just to confirm, were you also suggesting that we do similar to HTTP test where it's, so in our case, it would be package bot, and then nested inside of package bot would be bot test? Just want to make sure that that is more or less what you were recommending. It does. So more or less it would be, should quit out of here. It would be a make dir bot test. And then inside of bot test, we could do bot test. Oh, what do I want to call this? What do I want to call this? How do they do it in HTTP test? Yeah, okay. We could just have like a bot test.go. Do something like that. Map literals as function arguments does not work. Sorry about my confusing messages. No worries, mate. I appreciate it. I had a feeling that we had gone down this path before and came to the same conclusion that it wasn't possible. For the life of me, I couldn't remember. Oh, no worries, son, bro. Thank you so much. Do something like that. Then, if we go into bot test, we are that here. Test package bot test. That. So now that doesn't need to be there. That doesn't need to be there. This belongs somewhere else, I think. Yeah, I think that belongs somewhere else. Do I dare have bot test test.go? It just seems so wrong. Something about that just seems so wrong. Don't know what it is, but it just seems so wrong. And then in here, and then we take this, we put this into bot test test. Oh my goodness, I actually stuttered there a little bit. Bot test package bot test here. We don't have to do that. Just make IRC message. We do like that. Voila. I don't know what it is about that, but it just seems so funny to me. But hey, now look at bot test. Bot test is tiny. Eventually, I feel like that this is going to be. We could have this as the source for the larger integration tests. I actually kind of like that idea. I kind of like the idea of bot test, although I think I do want to change the name of it from bot test to bot integration test.go. That way we can have test raid message. And more or less what we can do. Should they be named underscore test.go at all? Which ones? Sorry. We'd have test raid message. We'd have something very simple. Files in the bot test package. Sure, I understand. Should this be underscore test, or should the test just be inside of bot test? Is that what you mean? Mostly the only reason that I have this is because of the test for the test funk. Hey, welcome back, Shining Sun, bro. And maybe I shouldn't call it bot test. Maybe I should just have functions. So like bot test, what is it? Bot test IRC, bot test template, something like that. And then it would just be or packet would probably make more sense. So it would be bot test packet.go and then bot test packet underscore test.go, if that makes any sense. So like this would be called packet. This would be called packet underscore test. Are the test and bot test package meant to be run directly or from a package that imports bot test? This is where I got a little confused, to be perfectly honest. That's not uncommon, I'm gonna lie. Sunbro. So I think trying to internalize that. I guess from the sense of naming, if I see an import anywhere in production code of bot test, then I know that that's an error, which I think is the convention. Okay, hold on. One thing that I do want to do real quick before it gets me. Yeah, so effectively what I ended up doing, I think what makes more sense is for the test that I wrote in bot test to actually just be in bot, if that makes sense. The reason that I wrote a test in bot test was to ensure that the IRC method that I wrote actually worked. You could argue that I could just get rid of that test now that I know that it does work. It was kind of I wrote logic, so I wanted to write a test for that logic, and then I realized that I was writing a test for logic that was helpers for other tests. And my brain just kind of went, yeah, sure, it makes sense. So, but hit the microphone there. My apology. I do want to change this to packet.go. I'll call it packet IRC. Test for the test. Well, test for the test helper, exactly. And then maybe this would packet IRC test.go. Yeah, so we end up with something like this. The problem being that make template is now in here, which it doesn't need to be. Bot test template.go. Track all of those. I want to redo COC. And then ironically, potentially, am not going to have a test for this. Package bot test. Because this is just templates. Which seems funny to say after my my most recent discussion. That absolutely should not be HTML template. That should be text template. Yeah, now IRC is going nutsoid. Or not IRC, COC going nutsoid. Other declaration. Okay. Bot.go. Nope. Bot integration.go. Nope. What do you want about? Yeah. So now what I need to do, I need to go into here. I need to do a bot test.make template. There we go. Okay. Starting to seem a little more sensical. If that makes any sense. Kind of makes sense to me. Ish. By ish, I mean so what do the test parts do? Or is it what it sounds like? More or less what it sounds like. So I write code to do some type of functionality. I write code to send a message to Twitch chat. I write a method, or I write a function to receive a chat message, parse it in some way, and then potentially do something like send a message somewhere else. And a test is just code that tests the code that I just wrote. It's basically a sanity check, an automated sanity check. And you may have seen me do this a couple of times. Whenever I run go test, this is running those tests that I've written to double check that everything is still working properly. And it's a way for me to basically, in a very quick and automated fashion, say, have I broken anything? Go test. And depending on what comes back, it may or may not have broken. Does that make sense? Tests are absolutely one of those things that I'm very keen on. I am somebody that really I put a lot of value on tests. Oh. I don't really follow the same industry conventions that a lot of people do, such as writing the test first. But I very highly value them because they are effectively an automated way for me to go, have I broken anything? And that's super powerful to me. Okay. So raid. Let's actually just start with a simpler one. Let's just start with a test test chat message or test command. It's a basic form of maintenance. Basically, yeah. Test make maintenance of code much easier, in my opinion. You write a test, you are basically asserting that the code should work in a particular way, and that automation is going to ensure that it is in fact working that way, and it stays working that way. And that stays working that way is a big part of it. At any point in time, if code somewhere else is changed and it happens to break your test, it's a quick and easy way to check that. That's not to say that tests are the golden bullet, because a human is writing the test, and usually it's the developer that wrote the test in the first place. What's the phrase? The developer that writes the test can suffer from the same bias as the developer that wrote the test, especially if they're the same person. So just writing a test by itself is not really a guarantee. It's kind of almost like its own discipline to write good tests, which is something that I feel like a lot of us are still trying to figure out, myself included. So you do have to kind of be careful, and not everything can be easily automatically tested or tested in an automated fashion. But you try to do as much as you possibly can so that when those things that do come up that are very difficult to test, you can at least kind of eliminate some variables to it. So, but unfortunately, I don't really have enough time to go into that right now. All commit -m, so bot test package created for test helpers. Prep work for bot integration tests. And before I push, I just want to do a quick one. I also work as defer tests. Exactly. Just want to make sure this is still working. Indeed it is. Fantastic. All right, so we will push that code up and we will call it a day. All right, so thank you all so much for stopping by. Again, I apologize for general state of things, but I appreciate you all coming by. I would say that today has been a very productive day. It's one set of screws to keep the structure up and stable. Exactly. And it is a very important screw in my opinion. So, but thank you all so much for coming by. I genuinely appreciate you all being here. There likely will not be another stream between now and Christmas. So for those of you that celebrate, happy Christmas. For those of you that don't, happy holidays. Thank you so much. Stay curious. And we'll see you all in the next one. Take care, everybody.